In late August, in the intense heat of the North African desert in northwestern Egypt, Lieutenant Werner Schröer of the Luftwaffe's Fighter Wing 27, one of Germany's newest aces, was on a patrol mission with his wingman. At the time, the atmosphere in North Africa was intense, with Allied and Axis forces locked in a fierce struggle for control of the region and the Luftwaffe playing a key role. Suddenly, the duo encountered a P-40 from the Royal Australian Air Force. Aboard was none other than Clive Caldwell, Australia's greatest ace. Schröer, the aggressive tactician, dove into the fray, locking on to Caldwell's P-40. As they both spiraled through the sky, each maneuvering for the upper hand, the duel of two of the world's greatest pilots began. When World War II erupted in September 1939, 21-year-old Werner Schröer was busy honing his skills at the Luftwaffe's fighter pilot school in Verneuchen, northeastern Germany. Over the next year or so, Schröer mastered flying some of the era's most advanced aircraft, including the Arado 96, the Messerschmitt Bf-108 and Bf-109, the Buka Bu-131, and the Focke-Wulf Fw-56. As Schröer trained, the Luftwaffe prepared for the Battle of Britain, aiming to dominate the skies over the English Channel in southern England. By August 1940, as the campaign intensified, Schröer was transferred to the frontline unit, Jagdgeschwader 27, armed with the Messerschmitt Bf-109, the backbone of the Luftwaffe's fighter force. Under Colonel Max Eibel, the group relocated to Puplange. Schröer experienced his baptism of fire, flying missions and claiming 3 unconfirmed aerial victories. In late September, JG-27 was withdrawn from the Channel front and moved to Stade near Hamburg to patrol the German Bight, replenishing their losses from the battles over Britain. Recognized for his skill, Schröer was promoted to second lieutenant early the following year and transferred to another squadron. Temporarily deployed to Sicily, he flew missions against Malta and protected convoys to Tripoli. After a brief respite to Germany, his unit moved to southern Europe in the spring, flying escort missions, before transferring to North Africa, the newest theater of war. In April 1941, the North African campaign was heating up as Axis forces, led by General Erwin Rommel, aimed to push back British forces. The campaign saw fast-moving clashes and daily dogfights as the Luftwaffe supported Rommel's Africa Corps. By the 15th, JG-27's 1st and 2nd Staffel had relocated to North Africa, landing in Tripoli before moving to Ain al-Ghazala airfield. Schröer's first victory came quite quickly. Just a day after his arrival, on April 19th, he spotted a Royal Air Force Hawker Hurricane fighter from 274th Squadron while flying amidst the swirling desert sands just outside Tobruk. Quickly, Schröer aimed his aircraft's MG-17 machine guns and fired, filling the sky with bursts of continuous fire. Watching the aircraft fall, Schröer achieved his first aerial triumph, unaware that over 100 more would follow. During that same mission, Schröer's Gruppe claimed their first 4 victories in the North African theater. Yet, these triumphs came at a cost, as Schröer was shot down in his Bf-109 and forced to land in the inhospitable desert terrain of Ain al-Ghazala. He later learned that his adversary was Royal Air Force pilot officer Spence. This incident marked Schröer as the first German Bf-109 pilot to be downed in Africa. Undeterred by the setback, the persistent pilot returned to the skies just 2 days later. On April 21st, Schröer and his Gruppe engaged in another fierce dogfight with Hurricane fighters over Tobruk, with tracer rounds lighting up the sky. While another pilot in the Gruppe claimed a victory, one German pilot lost his life in the encounter. Once again, Schröer's Bf-109 aircraft sustained heavy damage. In a deja vu moment, Schröer managed to coax his crippled aircraft and make his way back to Ain al-Ghazala, making a harrowing forced landing and suffering slight injuries. He was shocked to learn that Pilot Officer Spence had bested him again, marking the second time in 48 hours. Werner Schröer's career was just beginning, and soon he would become one of the most feared pilots in North Africa. By the summer of 1941, Axis forces were gaining momentum in the region. With its experienced pilots and advanced aircraft like the Messerschmitt Bf-109, the Luftwaffe played a key role in their advance. However, the Royal Air Force remained resilient, continually challenging their counterparts' dominance, leading to numerous intense battles. 2 months after his first confirmed downing, on June 25th, Schröer claimed his second aerial victory when he shot down a Hurricane, likely from the South African Air Force. Throughout the next year, Schröer maintained his impressive streak of victories. On July 8th, he downed a Hurricane west of Bardia. Just 11 days later, during a battle with a mixed flight of Hurricanes and Tomahawks, he claimed his first P-40. Soon, Schröer had become the Luftwaffe's latest ace after taking down another Hurricane. As August drew to a close, Schröer, flying over northwestern Egypt with his trusted Messerschmitt Bf-109, encountered Australia's top ace, Clive Caldwell. This Australian piloted the rugged Tomahawk and was renowned for his precise shooting and fearless tactics, boasting 7 confirmed victories. Schröer, always the aggressive tactician, dove into the fray, locking on to Caldwell's P-40. The pilot spiraled through the sky, each maneuvering for the upper hand. Schröer's more agile aircraft tried to outturn Caldwell's Tomahawk, but the Australian matched him move for move. The German pilot finally managed to get behind Caldwell and fired, striking the Tomahawk and wounding Caldwell in the back, shoulder, and leg. Despite his injuries, the Australian ace shot down Schröer's wingman and heavily damaged Schröer's aircraft, forcing him to disengage. Both aces returned to their bases, continuing their streak of downing aircraft until the war's end. Schröer was lauded for his discipline and calmness under pressure, earning respect from his peers and superiors. On September 14th, he claimed his 7th aerial victory by shooting down a Hurricane. A month later, his unit was re-equipped with the Bf-109 F4 Trop, and while some pilots left for home leave, Schröer chose to stay. The new year brought Rommel's counteroffensive, pushing Axis forces forward and reclaiming lost territory. As expected, Schröer excelled during this period, claiming a P-40 during the Battle of Gazala and 3 more in the next month. By mid-1942, the North African campaign was reaching a critical point. Schröer was transferred to a new squadron within JG-27 and flew his first combat mission with this unit on June 23rd, claiming his 12th aerial victory after shooting down a P-40. Just 3 days later, Schröer experienced his most effective day yet. During a mission following the Axis capture of Tobruk, he claimed 3 aerial victories, 1 Hurricane and 2 P-40s. Schröer was appointed Staffelkapitän, or squadron leader of 8th Staffel within JG-27. At only 24 years old, he now faced the challenge of leadership. Coinciding with his promotion, the Axis forces launched the first battle of El Alamein. The British forces were determined to halt Rommel's advance towards Egypt, leading to intensified air battles. The next day, Schröer led his men aboard 5 Bf-109s and intercepted RAF bombers and their escorts, claiming 2 victories. On July 3, 1942, Schröer led a flight of 4 Bf-109s to El Alamein, downing 2 Hurricanes and a P-40. His tally had now reached 20 aerial victories. Over the following weeks, Schröer's success continued, and he achieved his 30th victory by mid-July. Later that month, the Gruppe moved near Mersa Matra. After a brief lull, combat resumed with Rommel's renewed offensive. The Gruppe repositioned closer to El Alamein on September 3rd. Schröer claimed 2 Spitfires 5 days later, bringing his total to 33 victories. That month also marked a turning point in the North African campaign. Luftwaffe aces like Schröer were heavily engaged in more aerial battles than ever, facing increasing pressure from the ever-improving tactics and equipment of the Allied air forces. Although the first battle of El Alamein ended in a stalemate, the upcoming second battle would not. Pilot Schröer achieved an impressive feat on September 15th, claiming 6 aerial victories, 5 P-40s and a Spitfire, earning him the title Ace in a Day and bringing his total to 40 victories. However, these claims did not align with Allied records. Just 2 weeks later, Schröer led his squadron on a Ju-87 escort mission, covering the group's withdrawal and relieving the previous escort unit, which had been supporting operations in Africa. During the mission, Schröer received a radio message from Hans-Joachim Marseille, a legendary ace and friend who had spotted RAF fighters. Following Marseille's direction, Schröer moved toward the enemy. At 10:30 a.m., he confirmed downing a Spitfire over the radio. For the next hour, both flights remained airborne, patrolling the skies and ready to engage any Allied aircraft. At 11:30 a.m., Marseille radioed that his engine was smoking. As they escorted him back toward German lines, Marseille was forced to bail out. Tragically, after accidentally striking his aircraft's tail, Marseille fell to the ground without deploying his parachute, with Schröer arriving just in time to witness it. Schröer's success continued in October, claiming 15 more aircraft. He was awarded the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross for his 49 victories. On October 23rd, Montgomery launched the Second Battle of El Alamein with a decisive Allied victory. Nonetheless, Schröer shot down 10 aircraft in a week in the intense air battles. This remarkable achievement led to his promotion to first lieutenant on November 1st, and his Gruppe was relocated to Benghazi. A few days later, the United States Army Air Forces attacked the harbor at Benghazi. Defending against this attack, Schröer claimed his 60th aerial victory by shooting down a consolidated B-24 Liberator heavy bomber, a particularly challenging feat. Following the Axis defeat in North Africa, the focus shifted to Italy and the Mediterranean, leading to significant Luftwaffe operations in defending key locations and protecting shipping lanes from Allied bombers. Regrouping on Crete in mid-November, Schröer and his men replenished their ranks with new pilots and Bf-109s at Castelli Airfield. Schröer protected German and Italian shipping in the Aegean Sea and earned a promotion to captain by early 1943. During a flight from Rhodes to Crete, Schröer intercepted and claimed 2 Bristol Beaufort bombers. After a personal leave, he took command of 2nd Gruppe of JG-27 on April 22nd, and soon achieved his 64th and 65th victories by downing P-38s from the USAAF 95th Fighter Squadron. On May 5th, while protecting the cargo ship SS San Antonio from 26 B-24s, Schröer destroyed one of the bombers. Shortly after, during heavy aerial attacks on Sicily, he claimed another B-24 and a P-38. A week later, while supporting the German retreat, he downed a B-17 and a P-38 near Cape Bon. As Operation Husky, the Allied invasion of Sicily, began on July 10th, Schröer and his Gruppe were also nearby. In August, Schröer was awarded the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross with oak leaves by Adolf Hitler. Despite his 85 victories, the Luftwaffe faced increasing pressure from the advancing Allies. By the latter half of 1943, the Luftwaffe was desperately defending Germany against relentless Allied bombing campaigns, grappling with dwindling resources and experienced pilots. That summer, Schröer and his Gruppe of JG-27 were ordered back to Germany, receiving new Bf-109 aircraft and replacement pilots. In September, 2nd Gruppe intercepted a B-17 formation near Stuttgart, claiming 9 victories, 3 of them by Schröer. During the 2nd Schweinfurt raid in mid-October, they shot down 9 more bombers, with Schröer marking his 89th victory. Promoted to major in early November, Schröer claimed his 90th victory during an attack on Bremen later that month. In early 1944, he destroyed a P-38. By March, he was appointed group commander and began training on the Focke-Wulf FW-190, flying their first mission a month later. On May 24th, Schröer claimed a P-51 Mustang and 2 B-17s, becoming the 73rd Luftwaffe pilot to achieve 100 victories. When Allied forces launched Operation Overlord on June 6th, Schröer's group flew fighter bomber missions supporting German ground forces. The intense pressure led to a month's stress leave for him in June, likely saving his life as his unit suffered heavy losses in Normandy. Returning in November 1944, Schröer served as a senior instructor until February 1945, when he became wing commander in eastern Germany, claiming 12 Soviet aircraft during the Battle of the Oder-Neisse. Schröer received the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross with oak leaves and swords after his 110th aerial victory on April 19th. Not long after, he surrendered to British forces on May 5th, abruptly ending his pilot career. He was held as a prisoner of war until February 7, 1946. Lieutenant Colonel Werner Schröer ended World War II with 114 victories in 197 missions, mostly on the Western Front, including 61 in North Africa, 22 in Italy, and 26 heavy bombers.